What is up, YouTube? Today we are doing part 2 of 10,000 subscriber special. Today I'm going to be answering all your questions that you wrote in the comments below in the first video. I was not expecting it to be so many questions. I haven't looked at them yet, but hopefully they're not all questions, because right now there's 150 of them. And if my math is correct, 150 of them, even if it takes me an average of 1 minute to answer each question, that's 2.5 hours to answer each question, if they're all questions and if they take an average of 1 minute each. So hopefully I'll be able to do this pretty fast. I may have to do 2 parts, split this video into 2 parts. I'm not sure. We're gonna see how fast I can fire off these questions and answers. I'm gonna be reading them off my phone, so I'm gonna start at the bottom. I'm also not going to be reading off the ones that are not questions. So, excuse me. Ablin Peterson asks, will you own a Volvo Valp? Go Sweden. I'm assuming that's a car. Volvo Valp. Maybe. Go Sweden. Mark Duncan asks, I have a request that you finish that blue car looking go-kart. Ooh. Funny you should say something about that, because I actually did something with that blue car looking go-kart shell. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is going to be in the next video or the video after that. So I did do something with that. He also asks, if you and other YouTubers like Cars and Cameras could come together to make a cool go-kart. That'd be pretty cool. I'm not sure where they live. I am subscribed to them. I do watch their videos. I think they're a lot better at making videos than me. But yeah, I'd love to get together and make a go-kart. That'd be awesome. If you guys are watching this, yes, let's do it. Awesome. I love it. Devin Rowe asks, can you have a giveaway for go-karts? Sorry, but no, that's not really something I could do, because if I spend $500 on something to make it, if I'm going to get rid of it, I'd like to sell it. At least get my money back or sell it for a little bit of profit. That one go-kart that I made, I did spend around $400 making it. Somebody would not want to buy that thing for $400, so I'd be lucky if I got $200 or $300 for it. So yeah, a lot of my projects I build and I keep just because they're not really worth that much, just because I made them. So eventually I'd love to get good enough to where I can build something to where it's professional quality, to where I can sell it and proudly say this is not gonna break. If it does break, you can easily fix it by buying this part. But right now I make my own parts a lot, and I also weld together a lot of axles and bearings and all that kind of stuff. And if something went wrong, they would either have to take it back to me or take it to a welder to fix, or if they had a welder of their own. Anyway, I don't want to get it too technical, but the answer is not right now. Hopefully, maybe in the future, I can do a giveaway, but not right now. Sorry. Mark Higgins asks, what was your very first build? Funny thing, my very first build was actually a wooden go-kart. I don't have any pictures of it, I don't think. If I do, I'll put a picture up right now. But it was wooden. I had a push mower, a 4-horsepower push mower that I put on the front of it. If the picture's up, you can see the motor's in the front. You steer with your feet, and you sit like in the back, and the steering, there's on the back, the steering is just a 2x4 and the wheels turn. And that thing never worked. The motor ran, the clutch never worked. Again, you steered with your feet, and you operated the throttle and brake with your hands, which was really stupid. And to turn right, to go right, you turned left, and to go left you turned right with your feet. So it was a very, very badly designed project, but yes, that was my very first project. Anyway, where was I? Holy crap. Okay. Where was I? Here it is. Bing Fu Olsen asks, where do you get the money for your projects? What is the job you want to do later? The money, some of it comes out of my pocket. Most of it does come from this channel. A lot of you may not know, but YouTube allows me to do a thing where I can monetize my videos. What that means is I put commercials in the beginning and sometimes middle of my videos, and when you watch those commercials, you the viewer, I get a little bit of money for you guys watching those commercials. It's not a lot, but it does add up a lot. Right now, last month, I got $250 just for you guys watching my videos. So, and it's going up and up every month. So that money does go towards everything I do. So yeah, hopefully it'd be really awesome if I could get maybe like $1,000 a month and be able to do $1,000 project each month. Then I'd be able to do giveaways. That would be awesome. So I don't want to pressure you, but the more you watch my commercials, the more money I get, the more money I get, the more money I can spend on this kind of stuff. So anyway, here it is. JT Bolts asks, what? Is that the next one? Yes. Oh, also back to Bing Fu Olsen's question. What is the job you want to do later? A lot of you don't know, I'm in college right now, learning how to be a welder, and I'd love to be on the road and be a welder on the road, but I know if I did that, I would not be able to make videos for you guys doing projects. So, not really sure. All I know is I'm going to be a welder something or other. Possibly building motorcycles. That'd be awesome. Next, JT Bolts asks, what are your plans for the blue 5 horsepower mini car go-kart? A lot of you want to know about that thing. Again, like I said a couple minutes ago, I did do something with that body, that frame, and it's probably going to be in the next video. So I don't want to spoil anything, but it is going to be in the next video. So Seth Combs asks, you should build a gas-powered Power Wheels. What's a Power Wheels? Are those things at Walmart for little kids, those plastic cars? If it is, that'd be awesome. Getting one of those things, getting like a Chevy something, or I don't know, putting a big 6.5 horsepower motor on that thing, being able to do 50 down the road, that would be awesome. I'd love to do that. Mark Higgins asks, where did you get the idea of making go-karts and mini bikes? Ever since I was 5, I've always wanted to put a chainsaw on a bicycle because back when I was 5 years old, me and my friends, we used to ride bikes around all the time, and I've always wanted to put a motor on a bicycle to motorize it, either electric or gas powered. So ever since I was 5, I've always wanted to build stuff like this. So yeah, finally realizing my dream and doing this stuff. Okay, that was creepy. That door just opened by itself. I'm home alone and that door just opened by itself. Anyway, ignore it. It's daytime. I'm fine. It's not night. If it was night, I'd be freaking out. Next one. Kevin I can't pronounce that. LZD? Kevin, why didn't you upload more videos? Of what? Just random, that's creeping me out. Why didn't you upload more videos? I'd love to upload more videos, but it's hard for me to make more videos, so, yeah, I'd love to make more videos. I'm going to make more videos. Monty D asks, can you build a dune buggy with a motorcycle motor? That is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to build something like that, and hopefully, maybe in the future, I will do something like that. XEZ Gaming asks, please make a moped build and tune it. A moped build? I'll think about it. How about that? I'll think about it. Devin Rowe asks, where can I buy parts for my go-kart? The one, I don't want to, I'm not, the one place I get all my stuff, I don't want to hide that phone number, is this place. BMI Carts and Supplies. This is the best place to get stuff. They actually send stuff out faster, or pretty fast at least. Their stuff is really cheap. BMI Carts and Supplies. That's where I get all my stuff, and also Tractor Supply and sometimes Lowe's. So that's where I get my stuff, and that's where you can also get your stuff. DIY asks, in which state do you live in? I live in Weaverville, North Carolina, which is 10 minutes from Asheville, North Carolina. I don't want to say which street because I don't want you guys showing up at my house. No offense. Ryan Smith asks, do you have any ideas for future projects? I have, I don't want to explain too long because I don't want to make this video too long, but I have 2 projects in mind right now. One of them is an electric bicycle. I have a moped motor, a treadmill motor. It's 2.5 horsepower. It's about this big. I can run a 1 deep cycle battery. The battery, I did try it, is at Tractor Supply for $80 for 1 battery deep cycle, and the battery will run off of that. I do want to build that eventually. And I also have another idea. I have 2 6.5 horsepower motors, and I would love to make a fully suspension off-road go-kart. That would be, I'm wanting to do that eventually. I'm not sure how soon. I'm going to have to get other projects done first, but those are 2 projects that I do want to do eventually. Abil. Some of these names, I'm sorry if I can't read your name, but this guy, what was the first engine you have ever used? The first engine I've ever used, I can't really say it was the first go-kart that I made because I never used it. We never rode. Great, my bad. My phone's almost dead. I never really used that motor, so the first motor I actually used was off that mini bike. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember that red mini bike I have that I put a 6.5 horsepower motor on there. The motor on there, I think it was 5.5 horsepower, or no, sorry, it was 3.5 horsepower motor, and that off the mini bike, and that's the first motor I've ever used, or first engine. Did I answer that question? Yeah, I think I answered that question. So, Grinch7 says, congrats on 10,000 subscribers. Thank you. And will you ever make a proper off-road buggy like a sandrail on something or on something like that? Yes, I would love to do something like that. Eventually, hopefully soon. Yes. Duncan. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce her name. He asks, what welder do you have? Can you see it? Okay, I'm I'm hearing noises over there, and the door keeps creaking. It may be my cat. It's my cat. Hopefully. What welder do you have? I don't know if you can see that. It's a farmhand wire feed welder, 125. I got it at a garage sale for $100, and yeah. I need one, but I'm not sure what to get. And try making a racing go-kart. A low-down, fast go-kart with good steering, handling, PS. Gear up a Predator 212 with a torque converter. When people ask me what welder they should get, I always say get a MIG flux core wire MIG welder. Flux core, it looks like crap, but they do hold. Solid core MIG is a lot better. It does a little bit of better weld, but for small projects you don't want to spend the extra money on the gas and the extra money on the wire. For small projects, MIG Flux. You can get those at Lowe's or Tractor Supply or Harbor Freight. I would not really suggest the one at Harbor Freight because that's a really small one and it's only really supposed to do 1/8 inch or something. I haven't read into it, but I think it's only supposed to do 1/8 inch. So yeah, I wouldn't really get the one at Harbor Freight. And I would love to make a racing go-kart. I'd love to do that. What type of girls are attracted to you, if any? If any? You trying to say I'm ugly? Thanks. I'm kidding. I don't know. I haven't had a girlfriend. I know it's pitiful to say that, but yeah. When I was younger, I was homeschooled, and I only went to church. I did have a lot of friends in my neighborhood that were all guys. There was one girl in my neighborhood, but she was a lot younger, only 3 years younger, so I don't know. I haven't had a girlfriend. I know it sounds pitiful, and I know it is pitiful, so moving on. Huge fan, love the stuff you do, but about Tom Median asks, huge fan, love the stuff you do, but about the motorized bikes, how do you weld the rear sprocket on the wheel? And 2-inch, and 2, in one question, where do you get all your engines from? Thanks, hope to see more amazing future projects. Thank you. What I do is I get a BMX bicycle tire, and if you take the spinning sprocket off, there's a flange that if you also get it's hard to explain, but if you go to Tractor Supply, get those really big sprockets, the number 40 chain, and you take a BMX bike tire, take off the sprocket, take off everything that moves off the thing except the bearings and except the axle. It perfectly fits over this one thing, and I just weld it on the inside, and that seems to just do just fine. So sorry if I'm not explaining that too well. I'll probably make a video of it, but yeah, BMX tire and the sprocket at Tractor Supply. His second question is, where do you get all your engines from? Thanks, hope to see you. You're amazing. Alright. Where do I get the engines? The 6.5 horsepower engines I get at Tractor Supply. No, I get at Harbor Freight. Those things are on sale for $100. With a coupon, they're $100. Normally it's $120. But yeah, those engines are great for anything basically. And all my older motors I've already had because I collected a bunch of them. I went to a bunch of garage sales, and yeah, all my older motors I got from garage sales. All my newer motors I get from Harbor Freight. Uh, Albin Peterson. I think it's the same guy. Look up Volvo Valve on Google and subscribe to my channel. Okay, not a question, but I will Google that after this video. I don't want to do it now because I'm trying to make this video really fast. Already it's 20 minutes. Okay. Extreme Gamer 23 said, "You are my favorite YouTuber. Also, are you going to make a new go-kart or mini bike?" Thank you, and eventually. Yes, I will. Eventually. Kevin Elzade, sorry, can't read your last name. Where do you get most of the parts, like tires, centrifugal clutch, and how much does it all cost you? The centrifugal clutches I get at Tractor Supply for $60 each. That's a lot of money for a centrifugal clutch because I'm able to get on BMI Carts and Supplies and get them for about 50 or 40. But yeah, I get mine at Tractor Supply just because it's right down the road from me. And I also hate waiting to order stuff. I hate when I order stuff, I have to wait for it to get to my house. I hate that. It's mainly why I don't order a lot of stuff. So, where do you get most of the tires? Most of the tires I've kind of just collected over the years and just had in garage sales, old ATVs, stuff like that. You know, I also buy some of them. Sheen Pitt asks, "What's the coolest thing you tried to build that failed?" Ooh. I think, I'm not sure if that thing was cool. That really, I'm not sure if you guys remember that really big trike, that 14.5 horsepower trike that had 5 gears and reverse. That thing was actually really cool, and that thing did totally fail because I did a centrifugal clutch on a gearbox, and you're not supposed to do that because it doesn't work. Yeah, that's the coolest thing that failed. Where's my name? Brendan Schroeder, I think I'm saying that right. Why do you not like two-stroke? I don't not like two-stroke. It's just because every two-stroke I've had is they're old and they're worn. And if you've ever dealt with an old two-stroke, you know that they're a bitch to start and they don't want to run. So I'm not saying I don't like two-strokes. Newer motor two-strokes are great. Sometimes they outperform four-strokes, but when you get into the older stuff, they lose everything. They lose the will to live. So, yeah. Plus, all the motors I have are old, except for the brand new ones that I buy. So, okay. Sebastian J asked, I think he meant to say, how many go-karts do you have? How many go-karts have I made, or how many go-karts do I have right now? Because I've made around 4, I think. 2 of them worked, 2 of them didn't. So, how many go-karts? I think 4 or 5, I think. How many I've made, at least. Sheen O'Connor, I don't know if I'm saying that right. How did you start welding, and what kind of welding was it? My first welder was, if you can see it, I don't know if you can, MIG Flux. And yes, I just started welding and I just kind of eventually got good at it, and then I went to school learning how to weld. But that welder did make it to where I wanted to go in the welding school. So, okay, Dirk Kwalsik, sorry, I can't read your name, asked, when did you build your first motorized vehicle? Like I said, the thing is a wooden go-kart that did not work. So, that was my very first motorized build. Okay, I don't know if this is a question or not, but Lucas Scott said, please, just for me, I'm a huge fan, not to mention it's going to be my birthday and I have a medical condition. I always light up when I see your videos, and to see you pick my idea would be amazing. Thank you so much. The idea is to make a super powerful go-kart, but it also should be fast. Please and thank you. That is something I definitely want to do. Like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I do want to make a double motor off-road go-kart that's fully suspensioned and very fast. So yes, I do want to do something like that in the future. Asked, what is your next build? Like I said a couple minutes ago, a lot of these questions are kind of repeats, so I'm trying to answer them also, what is your next build? Hopefully it's going to be the electric bike or the off-road 2-motor, fully suspensioned go-kart. Something like that. I don't know. Ruben Gomes asks, where do you live? Like I said a minute ago, again, Weaverville, North Carolina. 10 minutes from Asheville, North Carolina. Tudor Sunsu? I don't know if I'm writing that right. I want to ask, what was your age when you started building things? The thing, that wooden go-kart that I first made, I was at, I think, 14 or 15 or 13. Around that time, age, around there is when I first started building things, and kind of just got bigger and better after that. Mark Duncan says, make a off-road go-kart capable of going in the woods that has shocks, roll bar, tires, etc. Big tires, etc. Yes, I want to do that. Yes, I'm going to do that eventually. The Codman asks, what kind of clutch do you use? Centrifugal clutches or torque converters? Torque converters are best, but centrifugal clutches do the job also. Excuse me. Okay. Body CC Kiss asked, shop tour. Not right now. I don't want to make this video too long because it's like half an hour long. I'm going to try to edit it down a little bit, but I will possibly, if you guys want, I'll make a shop tour. It's not a very, very big shop. As you can see, it's a very small shop, but I will make a tour of it if you guys want. What does the fox say? Okay. I'm not gonna read that one by Evo Eagles. Search a comment. I'm not gonna read that. I'm sorry. Redneck All the Way asks, are you going to make the go-kart faster? If you do, you should put a 1-to-1 ratio from the engine to the transmission. Which go-kart? The lifted go-kart? I'll try to make that thing faster, but I'm not entirely sure I can. Wow, I'm not even in the middle. Wow, I'm like quarter way through. So this may be a 3-parter. I don't know. Gupham asks, what's your favorite build? I think my favorite build is that mini green ATV. That thing was actually really fun to make, and I really want to make another one of those things with a 1-inch axle. That way I'm not afraid that the axle's gonna snap. The Shigan Crofter asks, what welder do you have? If you can see it, I'm not entirely sure if you can see it. I have no idea. But I have a MiG flux welder. Answered that about 3 times now, I think. Yeah, that's the welder I have. Mark Higgins, didn't I already? Anyway, that's cool. You can have multiple questions. What are the best modifications I can do to my go-kart engine to make it faster and better acceleration? For first thing, take off the governor. I know a lot of people say if you take off the governor, the engine ends up blowing up. All my projects don't have the governor, and none of them have blown up. I don't know what they're talking about, but if you want it to go faster and have a lot better response, take the governor off. Put a straight piping also makes it a little bit faster, and getting a new carburetor. I know I'm not getting a racing carburetor. That also makes it faster. And not to make the motor faster, but the go-kart, get a torque converter. Torque converters are the shit. They're expensive, and that's why, because they're awesome. Shark Attack asks, what is your favorite project? I answered this like, I don't know, a minute ago. It's a mini green ATV. That thing was really fun to make. Celtic 15. I don't know. What's happening with the 13 horsepower go-kart? You mean that really small go-kart with the really big motor on it? That's actually sitting behind my shed, rusting into pieces. I want to use the tires for the off-road 2 motor go-kart. I want to use the tires off of that, but I'm going to have to buy new ones. So yeah, that's what's the 13 horsepower that's what the go-kart's doing. It's just kind of rusting behind my shed in a pile. Not sure if I'm going to fix it up or not, or just take it to the scrapyard. Noah Westfall asked, what made you start doing this? Like I said a couple minutes ago, ever since I was 5, I've always wanted to motorize a bicycle, and when I was 15, I actually ended up motorizing my first bicycle. So yeah. Okay. BPY Eek asks, how could I control the speed on my homemade mini bike? Should I use a brake or something else and keep up the good work? How could I control the speed on my homemade mini bike? Do you mean a throttle cable? Because that's how you control speed. I think that's what just add a throttle cable. And yes, brakes do help. Sometimes. Gearhead37 asks, what kind of welder do you have? A lot of people want to know this. It's MIG Flux. MIG Flux. Simple as that. Jackson Invention asked, will you ever build a full-scale motorcycle? Hopefully in the future. That is something I do want to build. A full-sized motorcycle. Yes, I do want to build one of those. There we go. Trevor Brickham asks, how do you attach a sprocket to a mini bike wheel? It helps to have a mini bike wheel that's designed to have a sprocket on it. If not, it's kind of hard to explain, and it's having to do with a lot of finicky welding, and it's best just to buy a mini bike tire that's designed to have a sprocket on it, and BMI Kart Supplies sells them all the time. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Carter Beeson asked, what are some great tips on keeping your chain on your go-kart? because I have a go-kart and my chain falls off sometimes, and when I watch your videos, your chains never fall off. One thing that is important is if you have... Okay, how I keep my chains on the sprockets is make sure they're lined up this way and make sure they're lined up this way. If one's a little off this way, doesn't matter where it is right here, it's going to fall off. Also, it's very important that you're able to move your motor forward to be able to tighten your chain. If you add a chain tensioner and you have a centrifugal clutch, if you have to have a chain tensioner, it's best to have one on both sides of the chain. Because, yes, when you're accelerating, the chain is pulling on one side, and on the slack side, you have to have your chain tensioner. But when you're decelerating, is that a word? Decelerating, it goes opposite. The tire is fighting the motor, so therefore the chain is pulling the opposite way. So when you're decelerating, that's possibly why your chain's falling off. So it's best just to be able to not have a chain tensioner, just to have the motor slide forward and have a little bit of wiggle room. A lot of people say you want to have your chain tight, but that just messes everything up, and it strains the motor, strains the sprockets, strains the chain, ends up wearing down the chain a lot. You don't want to have a tight chain. You want to have a loose chain where you can wiggle it, but not a lot of play. It needs to have like that much wiggle room, you know? But yeah. So I'll make a video on that, possibly, and okay, next question. Cool asks, what are you building now? I think a lot of you know that I'm building that lifted go-kart. That's the project I'm working on now. Tom Searly, I don't know. Build a go-kart racing buggy. Okay, I'll do that eventually in the future. Isaiah Garcia asks, how do I send you some parts? Depends on the parts. I don't know. If you live around me, if you live around Asheville or Weaverville, North Carolina, I don't want to say I'll drive up there and grab them, because I'm really busy, but I don't know. If you live around me, we'll figure something out. Okay, Brandon Lehman asks, do you think you will ever get into something a little bigger, maybe something like a pit bike or street bike motor with more than one speed? Thanks for the great videos. Give them up. Yes, I do eventually want to be able to afford big motors and make bigger projects and eventually make a lot bigger stuff and just have more money. That'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. Mitchell Mahalik asked, can you make a I think he meant to say dirt bike from a moped. If I had a moped that I didn't feel like destroying, maybe. I don't know how well I'd be a dirt bike, but I'll maybe try it if I have a moped that I don't mind destroying. Yes, I may do that. Jack Stephenson, I don't know. Do you like living in North Carolina? Yeah, I like how the cops don't give a fuck. You know, I've been riding my go-karts and mini bikes through this neighborhood, the neighborhood across from me, for 2-3 years now, and I've only had the cops called on me once because I was in a private property. So, yeah, I like living here because the cops don't give a fuck. Alright. Tanner Tisher. I have a hard time reading last names. Or first name. I have a hard time reading names in general. But, especially names where I can't pronounce them. Tanner Tisher asked, who do you subscribe to on YouTube? Who do you watch the most often? I subscribe to a lot of people. If you go to my channel, you can click on all my subscribers. I think I have a lot. I'm not sure how many. I know I have a lot of subscribers that I've subscribed to, but the most often watched is that's hard to say because I watch all of them a lot, but Mason Swan asks, can you go test some of your fastest builds on a track? I'd love to do that if there was a track around where I lived, and I don't mean the soccer field. That's not a track. That's a walking path, and the cops will arrest me if I do that. But if I find a racing track, I will do that eventually. Joshua McKenzie, I can pronounce that, McKenzie, can you do a giveaway? I said this in the beginning. Sorry, no. Tom Parnell asked, hi from London. London. If you had as much money as you needed, what would you build? I'd build a shop that is twice the size of my house, and I'd build whatever I want, and I would take a Ferrari and do what Roadkill. I would take a Ferrari and do what Roadkill did to it, take the body off, put a roll cage on it, and beat the fuck out of it. That's what I would do. Seth Combs asks, and where do you live? I said that again. A lot of these are repeats. I live in Weaverville, North Carolina. 10 minutes from Asheville, North Carolina. Okay, Haken World Seth asks, can you build a $100 go-kart or a $50 go-kart, please? I will think about it. If I had the parts, I may possibly do it. Yes, I'll try. Cheers, man. Ryan Jones asked, do you know someone called Colin Fur? I know who this is. I have a hard time pronouncing his last name. I've never heard his last name pronounced. Colin Furs? Am I saying that right? I don't want to offend him. Colin Furs. Fuels? Furzy? I don't know. Do you know someone called Colin Furs? If not, he uses his fabrication skills to make outside the box creations. Yes, I do know him. Yes, I love his creations. Yes, I honestly want to make a 80-mile-an-hour mobility scooter. I want to steal his idea eventually, and yes, I love his videos. Alright, what was the comment? Do you know someone called Colin Furs? If not, he uses his fabrication skills to make outside the box creations. So what I believe you should do be more innovative and not just making go-karts and trikes. What do you think? I'd love to make other kind of stuff. When I have the money, I will, but right now I'm sticking to cheap stuff. Duncan Leslie asks, what's best for off-roading, ATV or go-kart? Depends on the off-roading. Is it woods? Is it trail? Is it steep? Is it flat? If it's woods, I believe an ATV. If it's trail, go-kart. That's what I believe. Garrett Monk asked, V-twin mini bike ATV for more power possibly. Is that a question? V-twin mini ATV for more power, possibly. That would be for the mini green ATV. That V-twin, damn, that would be insane. That would rip the tires off. Dominance E asks, why did you mount your fan on the roof? What do you mean, that one? Yeah, because I don't have any floor space. I do have ceiling space, though. And it actually works just, well, upside down. Andy Martin asked, how did your welder cost? I mean, how much did my welder cost? $100 at a garage sale. Very cheap. I'd love to get a better one. I'd love to get a MIG Flux. I will eventually buy a MIG Flux welder. MIG solid welder. Yeah. Omar Fortgins asked, isn't it hella cold with the garage door open? Yes, it is actually snowing right now. And I'm down here kind of cold, but yes, it is. That's why during the winter I don't make as much projects as during the summer, because it's freezing cold outside. I don't want to open the garage up and freeze my house out. I don't want to drag everything outside and freeze my ass off outside. So yes, it is freezing cold outside a lot of the time. So alright, hammer time. It's hammer time, I guess. Banshee Builder. Are there any fast mopeds / scooters in your area? The first where I live are going 76 miles an hour for 72cc 2-stroke. Wow. Like I said, 2-stroke, some 2-strokes outperform 4 strokes. I don't know, because I'm not a very big moped person. Moped or scooter person. I'm more go-karts and mini bikes. So I wouldn't really know that. Alright, Zion Rides asks, where did you get the idea for the lifted go-kart? I've always wanted to make something lifted, and I had the tires, I had that black go-kart, and I was like, let me put that together and see what that looks like. And that's how I came up with the idea. I just wanted to see what it would look like together. Split Alex asks, hey, I want to start making go-karts. What kind of welder do you use? A lot of people ask this. MIG Flux. I've said this 7 times now. MIG Flux. It's the best for the buck. How long is this video? It's 27 minutes, and that's okay. I'm gonna pause it here because I'm almost halfway. So I don't really want to make this video that I'm already at half an hour. So sorry if this is a really long video, trying to answer all the questions as thoroughly and as best I can without taking up too much time. So I'm gonna end it right now. This is part 2. Part 3 is probably going to be the rest of the questions. So thank you for watching, and look forward to the next video.